The smell of engine oil and metal filled Rex's workshop as he tightened the last bolt on the spacecraft part he was fixing. His hands were covered in grease, but he didn't mind. Working on ships that traveled between stars was his favorite thing in the world. Almost done, Rex muttered to himself, wiping sweat from his forehead. His workshop was located in a quiet corner of Earth's orbital Station 7, overlooking the beautiful blue planet below. Outside his window, workers in spacesuits floated gracefully, repairing the giant solar panels that powered the station. The door to his workshop slid open with a soft hiss. Rex didn't look up, assuming it was another mechanic coming to borrow tools. "Be with you in a minute," he said, focusing on his work. "Hello, Rex," said a voice unlike any he had heard before. It was soft and musical, yet somehow strong. Rex turned and froze. Standing in his doorway was a woman at least. She looked almost like a human woman. Her skin had a slight purple tint, and her eyes were a striking silver color that seemed to glow. Her hair floated gently around her face as if she were underwater, even though they were in normal gravity. "Do you remember me?" she asked, tilting her head to one side. Her voice carried a hint of sadness. Rex set down his tools and stood up slowly. "I'm sorry, but I don't think we've met." "Who are you?" The strange woman's eyes dimmed slightly. "My name is Zyla. We've known each other for a very long time, Rex. But I understand why you don't remember." Rex felt a strange tingle at the back of his mind, like when you try to remember a dream after waking up. "Are you not from Earth?" Zyla smiled. "No, I'm not. I come from a world very far from here, called Lumina." "What are you doing in my workshop?" Rex asked, not unkindly. He wasn't afraid, just confused. "I need your help," Zyla said. "And you need mine, even if you don't know it yet." Rex made Zyla a cup of tea, which she held carefully, examining the steam that rose from it with fascination. "You say we knew each other," Rex said, sitting across from her. "But I've never met anyone from another planet. I think I would remember that." Zyla took a small sip of tea. "Your memories were taken from you, Rex. Mine were too, but they've started to come back." "Taken by who?" "By me," Zyla said simply. "I took my own memories, and I took yours too. It was the only way to protect you." Rex laughed nervously. "Look, I fix spaceships. I'm just a regular person. Why would anyone need to protect me by erasing my memories?" Zyla's silver eyes seemed to look right through him. "Because we discovered something together. Something powerful and dangerous." As she spoke, Rex felt a sharp pain in his head. Flashes of images appeared in his mind, a glowing blue crystal, a vast, starry sky unlike Earth's, and Zyla's face, looking younger and happier. "What was that?" Rex gasped, holding his head. "Your memories are trying to return," Zyla explained. "They were never truly gone, just hidden away." "This is crazy," Rex said, standing up. "I have work to do. Maybe you should—" The alarm system of the station suddenly blared to life, red lights flashing throughout the workshop. "Attention all personnel," a computerized voice announced. "Unidentified spacecraft approaching. This is not a drill. Prepare for possible hostile contact." Zyla's face paled. "They've found us. They've found Earth." "Who has?" Rex demanded. "The Lumina Empire," Zyla whispered. "My people. And they've come to conquer yours." Rex and Zyla stood at the observation deck, watching as enormous ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They were unlike any ships Rex had ever seen, sleek, silver, and shaped like arrowheads. They moved with impossible speed. "There are so many," Rex breathed. "This is just the first wave," Zyla said grimly. "The Empire controls thousands of worlds across 3 galaxies. Why are they here? What do they want?" Zyla turned to him, her eyes intense. "They want what we hid, Rex. The stellar key." Another flash of memory hit Rex, a small device fitting in the palm of his hand, glowing with energy that seemed alive. "The stellar key," he repeated, the words feeling familiar on his tongue. "A weapon?" "The most powerful weapon ever created," Zyla confirmed. "It can harness the energy of entire stars. In the wrong hands, it could destroy planets or worse." Rex's head was spinning. "And we hid it, you and me?" "Yes. 5 years ago, I came to Earth as a scout for the Empire. I was supposed to find the key, which our legends said was hidden on Earth thousands of years ago by our ancestors." "You were a spy?" Rex felt betrayed, even though he couldn't remember their relationship. "I was a warrior of the Empire," Zyla said. "The best they had. I was completely loyal. Until I met you." Rex noticed that Zyla's hair had stopped its gentle floating motion. She seemed more human now, more vulnerable. "What happened?" he asked softly. "I was disguised as a human, working at the same space station as you. We became friends. Then more than friends." Zyla looked away. You showed me that humans weren't the primitive, violent creatures my people believed. You showed me kindness, creativity, wonder. Things the Empire had forgotten in its quest for power. Another memory flashed in Rex's mind, Xyla and him laughing together under Earth's moon, her silver eyes reflecting the stars above. When we found the key together, I couldn't give it to the Empire, Xyla continued. I knew what they would do to Earth. So we hid it again, somewhere even I wouldn't remember. And to protect us both, I used my people's technology to suppress our memories. But now you remember, Rex said. Not everything, Xyla admitted. Just enough to know what's coming. And enough to know that we need to find the key before the Empire does. A massive explosion rocked the station. Outside, one of the Earth defense ships had been hit by the alien vessels. We're out of time, Xyla said. Will you trust me, Rex, even without your memories? Rex looked at her, and despite all logic, he felt he could trust her. I do. But what can we possibly do against all those ships? Xyla smiled, a determined look on her face. We're going to steal one. Alarms blared as Rex and Xyla ran through the station's corridors. Panicked workers rushed past them, heading for the escape pods. This way, Xyla called, pulling Rex down a maintenance tunnel. Where are we going? Rex panted. To the emergency shuttle bay. Can you fly one of the repair shuttles? Rex nodded. Of course. But those shuttles aren't made for combat or long-distance travel. We won't need to go far, Xyla assured him. They reached the shuttle bay to find it mostly empty. Most of the station's crew had already evacuated. One small repair shuttle remained. That's our ride, Rex said, rushing toward it. As they climbed aboard, Rex's hands moved automatically across the control panel, preparing for launch. It felt good to do something familiar in the middle of this craziness. Where are we heading? He asked as the shuttle's engines hummed to life. See that smallest ship at the edge of the fleet? Xyla pointed to a sleek, dark vessel that seemed to be hanging back from the main attack. You want to fly toward the alien ships? Rex couldn't believe what he was hearing. That's a scout ship, Xyla explained. Minimal crew, powerful engines. It's our best chance. Rex swallowed hard but set course for the alien vessel. I hope you know what you're doing. So do I, Xyla whispered. The shuttle shot out from the station, immediately drawing fire from the nearest alien ships. Rex's hands flew over the controls, making the small craft dodge and weave between laser blasts. You're good at this, Sir, Xyla observed. Thanks, Rex replied through gritted teeth. But we can't keep this up for long. Another memory flashed Rex piloting a much larger ship through an asteroid field. Xyla at his side, both of them laughing despite the danger. We're almost there, Xyla said, breaking his concentration. Get as close as you can to their docking bay. The scout ship grew larger in their viewport. It was beautiful in a strange, alien way, its surface shimmering with an almost liquid quality. Now what? Rex asked as they approached. Xyla reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. Now I open the door. Hold on tight. She pressed the device, and a beam of light shot towards the alien ship. A section of its hull shimmered and disappeared, revealing a docking bay inside. Go, Xyla shouted. Rex gunned the engines and their shuttle shot forward into the alien ship. They crashed roughly onto the docking bay floor, the shuttle's metal frame screeching as it skidded to a halt. Are you okay? Rex asked, helping Xyla up from her seat. I'm fine, she said, already moving toward the exit. But we need to move quickly. They stepped out into the alien ship. The interior was unlike anything Rex had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with gentle light that followed their movements. The bridge is this way, Xyla said confidently, leading the way. What about the crew? Rex asked nervously. Scout ships only have a pilot and navigator. 2 against 2. And you think we can win that fight? Xyla gave him a determined look. I know we can. The bridge of the alien ship was a circular room with no apparent controls, just a platform in the center with 2 chair-like structures. 2 aliens sat in these chairs. They looked similar to Xyla, but their skin was a deeper purple, and they wore sleek metallic armor. When Rex and Xyla burst onto the bridge, they leapt to their feet with incredible speed. Xyla of the Imperial Guard, one of them said in a language Rex somehow understood. You are a traitor to the Empire. And you are invading a protected world, Xyla replied coldly. Stand down. The alien warriors didn't stand down. Instead, they attacked with startling speed. Xyla moved just as quickly, blocking their strikes and fighting back with practiced precision. Rex wanted to help but didn't know how. Then one of the aliens charged at him. Without thinking, Rex ducked and rolled, coming up with a move he didn't know he knew. His body seemed to remember fighting skills his mind had forgotten. The battle was brief but intense. Working together, Rex and Xyla subdued the 2 alien crew members and secured them in a storage compartment. How did I do that? Rex asked afterward, looking at his hands in wonder. I trained you, Zilla said with a small smile. During our time together, I taught you Luminant combat techniques. Zilla sat in one of the strange chairs, placing her hands on two glowing panels. The ship hummed to life around them. What now? Rex asked. Now we find the stellar key, Zyla replied, her hands dancing across the control panels. I'm setting course for the place where I believe we hid it. And where is that? The dark side of Earth's moon. As the ship moved away from Earth, avoiding the ongoing battle, Rex felt more memories returning. He remembered meeting Zyla for the first time, when she was disguised as a human engineer named Lily. He remembered falling in love with her, in the shock of discovering her true identity. I remember more now, he said quietly. You revealed yourself to me. You trusted me with your secret. Zyla nodded, not taking her eyes off the controls. It was the hardest decision I ever made. And the best. We found the key together, Rex continued, the memories flooding back. In an ancient temple under the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, Zyla confirmed. A temple built by my ancestors who visited Earth thousands of years ago. Rex closed his eyes, letting the memories wash over him. And we decided to hide it on the moon, in the crater called Tycho, they both said together. Their eyes met, and for a moment, they were back in the past. Two people from different worlds united by a common purpose and by love. The ship shuddered suddenly, breaking the moment. We're being followed, Zyla announced, checking the sensors. Imperial battleship. They must have noticed us leaving. Can we outrun them? Rex asked. No, Zyla said grimly. But we can reach the moon before they catch us. We just need to hold them off long enough to get the key. The ship accelerated toward the moon, which grew larger in their viewport. Behind them, the massive Imperial battleship gave chase, firing warning shots that lit up the darkness of space. The scout ship raced across the lunar surface, skimming just above the gray, dusty ground. Craters and mountains passed beneath them in a blur. We're almost to Tycho Crater, Zyla announced, her hands steady on the controls despite the Imperial battleship closing in behind them. Rex stood beside her, trying to remember exactly where they had hidden the key. There's a cave system on the southern rim of the crater, he said as the memory became clearer. We placed it deep inside, behind a wall that looks solid but isn't. Zyla nodded. That matches what I remember too. Hold on tight, this landing is going to be rough. The ship descended rapidly toward a dark crevice in the crater's rim. Rex gripped the back of Zyla's chair as the vessel shuddered and groaned, fighting against the moon's weak gravity. With a bone-jarring thud, they landed at the entrance to a narrow canyon. We need spacesuits, Rex said, looking out at the airless lunar landscape. The ship has emergency gear, Zyla replied, already moving toward a storage compartment. 2 suits Luminant design, but they'll work for humans too. They donned the suits quickly. Rex was surprised at how light and flexible the alien suit felt, compared to the bulky human designs he was used to. The battleship will land soon, Zyla warned as they prepared to exit the ship. We have maybe 20 minutes before they reach us. Outside, the lunar landscape stretched in all directions, a desolate, beautiful wasteland of gray dust and sharp shadows. The Earth hung in the black sky, a blue jewel against the darkness. This way, Rex said, pointing to a narrow crack in the canyon wall. More memories were returning with each passing minute. The cave entrance is hidden, but I know how to find it. They moved as quickly as the lunar gravity allowed, taking long, bouncing strides across the dusty surface. The cave entrance was exactly where Rex remembered a thin crevice that widened into a tunnel once they squeezed through. Inside, their helmet lights illuminated a path that wound deeper into the moon. The walls around them were covered with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the dark. Luminant writing, Zyla explained. Ancient warnings and directions. Can you read it? Rex asked. Some of it. This part says, the power of stars lies ahead. Only the worthy may approach. They followed the winding tunnel until they reached a chamber with a high dome ceiling. In the center stood a wall of what appeared to be solid rock. But Rex knew better. It's here, he said, approaching the wall. But I can't remember how to open it. Zyla joined him, placing her gloved hand against the surface. Together, she said, we designed it to open only for both of us. Rex placed his hand next to hers and suddenly the wall began to glow. Lines of light spread from their hands, forming a complex pattern across the rock surface. With a low rumble, the wall simply dissolved, revealing a small chamber beyond. In the center, hovering above a pedestal, was a small device no bigger than Rex's palm. It was made of a material that seemed both metal and crystal, and it glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The stellar key, Zyla whispered. Rex reached out and took it carefully. As his fingers closed around it, he felt a warm energy flow up his arm. I remember everything now, he said, turning to Zyla. How it works, what it can do, and why it's so dangerous. A voice echoed from the tunnel behind them, which is precisely why the Empire needs it. They turned to see three Luminant soldiers in battle armor standing at the chamber entrance, weapons pointed at them. In the lead was a tall, imposing figure with deep purple skin and cold silver eyes. General Drax, Zyla said, her voice tight. Warrior Zyla, the general replied with a mocking bow. You've saved us the trouble of finding the key ourselves. Hand it over, and perhaps the Emperor will be merciful to you and your human pet. Rex felt Zyla tense beside him. He knew they couldn't give up the key, but fighting seemed impossible. They were cornered, outnumbered, and outgunned. But then Rex felt the key pulse in his hand, and suddenly he knew what to do. You don't understand what this device can do, Rex said, holding the key tightly. General Drax's eyes narrowed. I understand perfectly. It can harness the energy of stars, bend space and time, create or destroy on a cosmic scale. That power belongs to the Empire. No, Zyla said firmly. It doesn't belong to anyone. It's too dangerous. Then you leave us no choice. Drax raised his weapon. Kill the human. Take the key. Time seemed to slow down for Rex. As the soldiers raised their weapons, he felt the key growing warmer in his hand. More memories flooded his mind, not just his own memories with Zyla, but something older, deeper. Knowledge that seemed to come from the key itself. Without hesitation, Rex pressed a hidden pattern on the key's surface. It began to glow brighter, pulsing with energy. Down, he shouted to Zyla, pulling her to the ground as a wave of blue energy burst from the key. The energy washed over the Luminant soldiers, freezing them in place. They stood perfectly still like statues, their weapons still raised. What did you do? Zyla asked, getting to her feet. Time bubble, Rex explained, surprising himself with knowledge he didn't know he had. They're frozen in time, but only temporarily. We need to move. They ran past the motionless soldiers and back through the twisting tunnels. As they emerged onto the lunar surface, they saw the Imperial battleship had landed nearby. More soldiers were already pouring out. We'll never make it back to our ship, Rex said. Zyla pointed to the battleship. Then we take theirs. Are you serious? The two of us against an entire crew? Zyla's eyes glinted behind her helmet visor. We have the key, and I know that ship's design. There's an emergency override system. They moved quickly across the lunar surface, using the rugged terrain for cover. The key continued to pulse in Rex's hand, and he could feel its power growing stronger. As they approached the battleship, a squad of soldiers spotted them and opened fire. Energy bolts struck the ground around them, kicking up plumes of lunar dust. Keep going, Zyla urged. I'll hold them off. Before Rex could protest, Zyla had leapt into action. She moved with incredible speed and grace in the low gravity, dodging energy bolts and engaging the soldiers in close combat. Rex had never seen anything like it. Zyla was a blur of motion, taking down soldier after soldier with precise, powerful strikes. This was the Imperial warrior she had once been skilled, fearless, and unstoppable. While she fought, Rex sprinted toward the battleship's main entrance. More soldiers emerged to block his path, but Rex found himself using the key instinctively. With a quick gesture, he created another time bubble, freezing the soldiers in place. Rex reached the entrance and pressed the key against the door's control panel. The ship recognized the ancient technology and the doors slid open. Zyla, Rex called over his helmet comm. I'm in. Zyla disengaged from combat and raced toward the ship, taking impossible leaps across the lunar surface. She dove through the entrance just as Rex closed the doors behind her. Inside, alarms blared as the ship recognized unauthorized entry. Crew members rushed toward them from all directions. This way, Zyla shouted, leading Rex through the corridors toward the bridge. Use the key to clear our path. Rex focused on the key, and it responded to his thoughts. Waves of energy pulsed ahead of them, temporarily freezing anyone in their way. They reached the bridge and found it staffed with a full crew, including another high-ranking officer who drew his weapon as they entered. Captain Vex, Zyla acknowledged. Stand down. We don't want to hurt anyone. Traitors have no place giving orders, the captain snarled, firing his weapon. Zyla pushed Rex aside, taking the blast on her shoulder. She cried out in pain but stayed on her feet. Zyla, Rex shouted, anger surging through him. The key flared in response, and a wave of energy knocked everyone on the bridge unconscious, everyone except Zyla and Rex. Rex rushed to Zyla's side. Her suit was damaged, and a dark purple fluid that had to be her blood was seeping from her shoulder. I'm okay, she gasped. We need to get this ship moving. More will come. Rex helped her to the captain's chair, then looked around at the unconscious crew. What about them? Emergency escape pods, Zayla said. We can launch them before we take off. I won't be responsible for more deaths. Working together, they activated the ship's systems. Rex was surprised to find he could read the Luminen controls and other memory returning. They sent the unconscious crew members to escape pods and launched them away from the ship. Setting course for Earth, Zyla said, her voice weak from pain. No, Rex said, an idea forming. The Empire won't stop coming for the key. We need to end this now. He placed the key into a recess in the control panel that seemed made for it. The entire ship hummed with new energy as the key connected with its systems. What are you doing? Zyla asked. Something I just remembered, Rex replied, his hands moving across the controls. The key doesn't just control energy, it can also open doorways. Doorways between stars, between galaxies. A portal, Zyla whispered. But to where? To the edge of the galaxy, Rex said. Far from Earth, far from any inhabited worlds. Somewhere the Empire will take a long, long time to return from. The ship shuddered as new energy coursed through it. Outside the viewports, space itself seemed to bend and distort. We need to get off this ship before it jumps, Rex said urgently. It's going to take the entire Imperial fleet with it. Zilla looked at him with wide eyes. How? The key is connecting to all Luminen ships in the solar system. It's linking them together for the jump. Rex worked quickly, programming the final commands. We have 3 minutes before the portal opens. We need to get to an escape pod. Rex supported Zyla as they hurried through the corridors of the battleship. Her injury was worse than she'd admitted, and she was weakening rapidly. Almost there, Rex encouraged her as they approached the last row of escape pods. Behind them, the ship trembled and groaned as the stellar key's energy built to critical levels. On the monitors along the corridor, they could see the other Imperial ships being pulled toward their position by an invisible force. All the ships are linking together, Zyla observed. The key is working. They reached the final escape pod, and Rex helped Zyla inside. As he was about to join her, an alarm sounded throughout the ship. Warning, portal sequence unstable. Manual override required at bridge control station. Rex and Zyla looked at each other in horror. If the sequence isn't stabilized, Zyla began. The portal could collapse and release all that energy here, Rex finished. It would destroy the moon, maybe even Earth. A moment of terrible silence hung between them. I have to go back, Rex said finally. Zyla grabbed his arm. No, I'll go. I know the system's better. You can barely stand, Rex pointed out gently. And besides, Earth is your home now too. Rex. Tears shimmered in Zyla's silver eyes. Rex leaned forward and pressed his helmet against hers. I remember everything now, Zyla. Every moment we shared. And I wouldn't change any of it. There has to be another way, she pleaded. The pod's automatic systems will take you to Earth, Rex said, ignoring her protest. I've already programmed it. I won't leave you. You have to, Rex said firmly. Someone needs to warn Earth about what happened here. Someone needs to make sure the key is never found again. With a swift movement, Rex removed the key from his suit pocket and pressed it into Zyla's hands. Keep it safe, he said, and remember me. Before she could stop him, Rex pushed away from the pod and sealed the door from outside. Through the small window, he saw Zyla pounding against the glass, her face streaked with tears. Goodbye, Zyla, he whispered, hitting the launch button. The escape pod shot away from the battleship, quickly becoming a tiny speck against the backdrop of Earth. Rex turned and ran back toward the bridge, fighting against the ship's increasingly violent shuddering. He had less than a minute left. When he reached the bridge, the sight that greeted him was both beautiful and terrifying. Outside the viewports, space itself was tearing open. A swirling vortex of blue energy was forming, growing larger by the second. Already, some of the smaller Imperial ships were being pulled into it. Rex sat at the control panel and worked quickly, stabilizing the portal sequence. As he finished the final adjustments, a calm settled over him. He had saved Earth. He had saved Zyla. It was enough. The portal grew to its full size, a magnificent swirling gateway of light. The battleship lurched forward as it was drawn in, along with every other Imperial vessel. The last thing Rex saw before the ship entered the portal was the beautiful blue Earth, peaceful and safe in the darkness of space. 3 months later, Zyla stood on a beach, watching the sunset. Her human disguise was perfect once again. No one would know she wasn't from Earth. Her shoulder had healed, and she had found a place to live, a small house near the ocean. In her hand, she held the stellar key. After careful consideration, she had decided not to hide it again. Instead, she was working with a small group of trusted human scientists, teaching them about Luminen technology. Together, they were learning to use the key's power not for weapons, but for exploration and clean energy. A small memorial stone sat on the sand beside her. She had placed it there to honor Rex, though his body was lost somewhere on the other side of the galaxy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Zilla noticed a strange light in the sky, a small blue flare that grew brighter. Her heart jumped as she recognized the energy signature. It couldn't be. A small craft appeared, descending rapidly toward the beach. It was unlike any Earth or Luminan design she had ever seen. It seemed to be made of pure energy, barely solid at all. The craft landed gently on the sand, and a door of light opened in its side. A figure stepped out, silhouetted against the glow. "Rex?" Zyla whispered, hardly daring to hope. The figure stepped forward into the fading daylight. It was Rex, but changed. His eyes now held the same silver glow as Zyla's, and there was an aura of energy around him. "Hello, Zyla," he said with a smile. "Sorry, I'm late." Zyla ran to him, throwing her arms around him. He was solid, real, alive. "How?" she asked, her voice breaking with emotion. "The portal took me to the edge of the galaxy, just as planned," Rex explained. "But something happened when I passed through. The energy of the key, the portal, it changed me. I learned things, Zyla. I saw the universe in ways I never imagined possible." "And you found your way back," Zyla said in wonder. Rex nodded, taking her hands in his. "It took me a while to learn how to control my new abilities, but I never stopped trying to get back to you." He looked up at the stars that were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. "The Empire is gone, scattered across 1,000 uninhabited systems. They won't threaten Earth again, at least not for many generations." "And now?" Zyla asked. Rex smiled, his silver eyes reflecting the last rays of the setting sun. "Now we have work to do. The key showed me so much, Zyla. There are wonders out there, and dangers too. Earth will need protectors who understand both." Zyla held up the key, which glowed in response to Rex's presence. "Then we'll protect it together." As night fell over the beach, two figures from different worlds stood side by side, guardians of a planet that neither had been born to, but both now called home. Behind them, a ship of light waited to carry them to new adventures among the stars. Rex took Zyla's hand, and together they walked toward their future not as human and alien, but as something new, something more.